What's up, partner?
How you doing, champ?
How are you?
Good, man.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. This is a real belt.
The blessing for me in so many ways as a young athlete was I was never like the kid that was like, hey, that's the one that's gonna make it to the NFL.
How do you make sure that you're ready for it and you take advantage of it?
All these players in the NFL, they want it easy Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday gets really hard. Good programs in the NFL, it's really hard Monday through Saturday. And I ended up going to Michigan and I started as the 7th quarterback. Because I loved it, I never minded working hard. I liked hard. So the harder that shit got, the more I liked it. It's really painful to lose a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and I lost 3
imagine.
of them. And those are the 3 hardest losses of my life. And I think I'm proud of the fact that even though we lost some that were very important, we always found ways to come back. Okay, what was our process for that? And then how can we improve it so if we put ourselves back in that situation, we can succeed?
What's up, guys? Welcome to the beautiful Fontainebleau Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada for Champion Mindset with Daniel Cormier, a UFC and Fanatics original production. Today, we are joined by the greatest football player of all time, Tom Brady.
Yeah, great to be here with you, and I appreciate the introduction. And even, when people always say the greatest of all time, and, you hear that now all the time, basically. And I just think for me, it was always, how do I give my very best every day? And it's like, I'm sure for you, you probably didn't think about.
No.
You just thought about, hey, how can I win this day? And then what it becomes, you look back over a period of time, you're like, damn, you know what? I did all right for
pretty good.
myself.
Yeah.
I did all right. Like I didn't leave a lot, left in the tank. So I think that's probably the best way to approach it.
But even the greatest of all time conversation, for so many, even Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, well, LeBron James might be better.
Yeah.
We don't get that with you. It's
Yeah.
almost universal. And that's where you differentiate. That's where you're different than other people. Because I don't hear anyone going, well, they're better than Tom Brady. So all the work that you did ultimately showed itself in your career, and obviously you won all those Super Bowls. But it didn't start like that.
Yeah.
So Juniper Serra.
Yeah.
So we wrestled them. I coached
Really?
at high school in Gilroy.
No way.
And we wrestled Sarah.
No way. We had a pretty good wrestling program back then, too.
Good wrestling program then. They're
Yeah.
still very good right
Yeah.
now. You're in high school,
Yeah.
and you're not starting for a long time.
Yeah.
How do you stay the course whenever success isn't showing itself?
I think we all had a unique journey to get to where we're at. And I think, and I've been around thousands of football players, just teammates and people that you see come from all parts of the country.
Yeah.
And they have all different, some are 5-star recruits, some are barely recruited. Some get to the NFL as undrafted free agents, some are first-round picks. And the blessing for me in so many ways as a young athlete was I was never like the kid that was like, hey, that's the one that's gonna make it to the NFL. I was always the one that they were like, yeah, he's talented, but, maybe he can go to a Division II school.
Yeah.
And I had I would say I was a late bloomer pretty much as an athlete. And I think all the kids were physically always a bit better than I was. And I was just young. I didn't really mature into my body. Like I didn't start shaving until I was like a senior in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like always kind of behind physically. And because I was behind physically, and I always had a work ethic, but it really made me work hard. Like, I just remember in 4th grade and 5th grade, I had 3 older sisters, and my cousin Sean.
Yeah, sure.
We all grew up in
Where
the
did
Bay Area
Sean
together.
go to school? I wonder.
Sean went to Aragon High School, which was
Okay.
right down the street from Sarah, but he was our first cousin. I mean,
Yeah.
we spent every holiday together, and, we had a very athletic family. I had 3 older sisters that were all great athletes, and they softball, basketball, soccer. They all played in college, and I was kind of the baby. So I was kind of coddled by my mom because I was the baby.
Yeah.
I was coddled by my dad because I was the only boy, and I was coddled by 3 sisters. So I would say I was not the toughest kid.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, everything was always like, oh, don't worry, you'll figure it out. But I always loved playing, and I love sports, and I love competing, but all the boys in the neighborhood were always better than I was. And then as I got through elementary school and into high school, when I remember going to high school and like looking at these kids in the freshman year, and they're shaving and they're putting all their pads on, and I never even tried out for football till my freshman year. And like these kids were putting on pads, and I was looking at them like, how do you put this on? Like, your hip pads? And so you go out there early in my freshman year, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play football because the Niners were so good.
Yeah.
So naturally I was like, oh man, I kind of fell in love with football because the Niners were great. But I went to a baseball school. Barry Bonds went to my high school, who I think is the greatest baseball player ever.
And that should not be questioned.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he came back to the Bay Area to play for the Giants when I was a freshman in high school. So it was like this crazy baseball school I was at. And then I was like, but I kind of like football. Let me try out. So I try out for the freshman team, and I make the team, because everybody makes teams as a freshman. There's 3 teams. There's a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team. And I make the freshman team, because everyone makes it, but I'm the backup quarterback on the freshman team. So I never play that whole year. We never win a game, but they barely put me in ever. And then my second year, the guy who started was like, fuck this, I'm not playing, football anymore. I'm gonna just play basketball. So I tried out for junior varsity, and I made the junior varsity team, was starting quarterback. And we kind of fell in love with the sport again because the coaches made it fun, and they knew we didn't win a game as freshmen. So then I'm going into my third year, and I'm like, all right, I kind of really love football now. My dad was like, wow, you're kind of really into this. Let's go get some, there's a throwing coach up at the College of San Mateo. You should go, let's go try to throw the ball better. And I really got into it. And again, with this work ethic that I had, that I would always say was pretty natural. And I don't think a lot of people think his work ethic is like innate.
Yeah.
But like some people are tall, and some people are fast, and some people are strong. But I do believe there's an innate part about a work ethic too, that I was very blessed that I didn't mind going to work out and didn't mind training and all those things that maybe other kids, had that I didn't have, like the speed and the jumping ability. What I had a work ethic and I had discipline. And you can't really see those things.
Yeah.
So I played decent my third year in high school, and then I try out for, varsity again and make the varsity team, and I'm pretty good. I get better. I'm not great, but I kind of get lightly recruited to Michigan.
But how do you go? How did you end up at Michigan?
I know.
This is a big school.
A big school, and I saw this is the gamut of colleges that were looking at me. Like the College of San Mateo was looking at me.
Yeah.
It's the city college. It's like a junior JC college in San Mateo. There were teams like Army that were like, and then no one knows Army. And then BYU, okay, that was a little bit of Fresno State. It's like, at the time, like not the greatest school, but, they could throw the ball pretty good. Yeah, but then like Illinois in the Big Ten, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then finally, like Michigan came out of nowhere. And fortunately, they kind of ran an offense that required a bigger, taller quarterback that could throw the ball and process information, which is kind of what my skill set was. Mm-hmm. So after my third year, and again, the era of our era was very different. There wasn't the digital era where everyone sees your highlights. And everyone knows who everybody is all the time.
You're shipping tapes.
I'll tell you
You're
this.
sending tapes.
Yeah, so I went with my dad, because my dad was like, he always facilitated, like, my parents never put pressure on me. There was always kind of pressure within myself, but they always were like, whatever I wanted to do, they were like, yeah, let's go for it. Like, I want to go to the Stanford football camp, Dad. All right, let's get you there. Dad, I don't know, I had a fun time. Should we go to the University of Arizona football camp? Yeah, let's go down there together. And we made it like a father-son trip. So it was like, my dad was always there. When I was a baseball player in high school and I wasn't hitting the ball good, my dad was like, come on, let's go to the batting cage at night. Mm-hmm. Like, screw English. Let's go to the batting cage.
He put the time you needed.
Yeah, and he was just there.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if you think of how long the odds there are for kids to become a professional athlete, it's impossible. But I think the blessing for my parents, at least, they never said, like, hey, we should think about something different. Mm-hmm. They were kind of all in too. And like, I always try to encourage parents, like, and I even say with my own kids, like, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna become. Yeah. But like, I'm never gonna tell them no, that they can't. They can't do anything. Yeah. Like, they can, if they work hard enough, they put their mind to it, they can. Because that was my journey. And like I said, I probably wasn't the top recruit out of the Bay Area. I was one of, I don't know, 7, 10 guys on the West Coast that was kind of recruited. And then Michigan ended up offering me a scholarship, because I went on a visit, and they kind of liked my size and what I could do. And I'm sure they weren't too sure about what I could accomplish. But then I ended up going to Michigan, and I started as the 7th quarterback on the depth chart. And again, I think the thing that was really different for me was, and it really carried me through my entire career, was my work ethic, my curiosity to learn from people that were better than me. Mm-hmm. I never let off, like, I didn't know everything, I still don't. I don't know shit. I don't know most about anything. Yeah. I know what I know and basically what I've studied, but a lot of people have come into my life over the years that have been like, hey, like, I see you're kind of lacking that. Let me try to help you in some way. Either it was physically, mentally, or emotionally. Yeah. And I needed all that growth in different areas. And I look at so many athletes are only valued on their physicality. Like when the NFL draft comes around every year, it's like, man, this guy's 6'4", 215 pounds, and he runs a 4.3. And I'm like, yeah, but does he work hard? Is he obsessed?
And does he know how to play football?
Yeah, can he do
Like,
that?
I never understood,
Yeah.
Tom, how you go through the process now in the draft, and they're talking about all these numbers and ignoring essentially the things that are on the field at times. When at times, if you don't see what's on the field, you may end up passing on the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Marcus Colston was one of the last guys picked.
He was unbelievable.
And look at how good he was because he didn't run as fast.
I know.
Right? So it's like some of those things people don't see to the blind eye. And a lot of that with kids is when the older kid, right, develops faster, the coaches are drawn to them.
Totally.
But when you go to Michigan, it's a deep bench.
Yeah.
It's a deep bench.
Players, really good
players, but you stay the course. That's like a thing that you have, right? Regardless of the obstacle.
Yeah.
You stay the course. I kind of really went through that. Like I grew up in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Unbelievable athletes.
Yeah.
I'm playing middle school football, but so is Kevin Falk.
Wow.
So they're like running over. Everybody's going to Kevin.
Yeah,
He's the best.
That's my boy.
Right? I know. He was the man.
Yeah.
You know, I got a great story about Kevin. One time we're playing him. I'm a sophomore in high school. Kevin's a senior.
Yeah.
They always made him the quarterback.
Really?
Because they wanted to make sure he had the ball every time.
Yeah.
We got to the 1 yard line, almost score. They stop us 4th and 1. Kevin runs a 99-yard quarterback sneak.
No.
Oh, hey, you just dive. At that point, when he gets in front of you, you dive because you don't want to be chasing him when he opens it up to 30 yards when he scores the end zone. So, he was just amazing. But you stay the course, right?
Yeah.
You're going into your last year, and you're still competing for a spot.
Totally.
There's got to be some pride in that, though, knowing that you went out and earned that position.
Yeah, and I think like when I look back at high school, it's like didn't start as a freshman, had to work really hard to even make the team my second year. Okay, became the starter. Then I tried out for varsity, had to work really hard to be the starter on varsity. Had to work really hard my 4th year to get recruited, make it to Michigan. I'm 7th on the depth chart, but because I loved it, I never minded working hard. I never minded like working on my throwing mechanics, working on my drops, going in the weight room and trying to be a little bit stronger, be a little more sturdy in the pocket, eating a little bit better as time went on. And then it's like, okay, at Michigan, you go from 7th to now going to my second year, and I'm kind of like, maybe this Michigan is too much for me, you know? And I questioned myself for a little bit because I was like, I'm like 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. The guy who's the starter is only 1 year ahead of me, so maybe I'll never play here if he plays good because the coaches seem to love him. And there was a sports psychologist that came into my life. His name was Greg Harden, and Greg unfortunately passed away. And he was a mentor for me, but a lot of other great athletes at Michigan, Michael Phelps and Desmond Howard. And he would always call it like self-defeating attitudes and behaviors, and that we all have them. And we all have the poor me, I'm not getting my chance, let me blame someone else.
Yep.
And it was like, he was like, I'm tired of that shit. Like, fucking knock that off. Like, you ain't dealing with that anymore. Like, you're gonna come in here, I'm gonna start working with you, we're gonna change your fucking attitude.
That inner bitch, you gotta kick him in the ass.
All the
you
time.
Gotta kick, because we all have it. When that inner bitch starts going, hey, I'm here, you gotta put your foot in his ass and get him out of there.
Yeah, always. And it was like, it always creeps into your mind, especially when you're, okay, let's say you're a California kid and you're kind of babied by everybody. Then you go to the Midwest and it's cold. But it was before the cell phones. Like, you couldn't just pick up the cell phone and call your parents. And they were a long way. You're out there on your own. You need to grow up. You need to start assuming responsibility for life. And then if you don't have a lot of champions for you, then you better become a champion for yourself. And you better like try to develop confidence within yourself so that you can grow up and be the kind of person or player or student or whatever you want to be. You don't have to be an athlete. You got to do what you want in your life. You wanted to be a great wrestler. You wanted to be a great MMA champion. Like, that's up to you. Like, and now you had a lot of people to support you. But that had to be like, when you wake up in the morning, like, you're probably thinking about, submissions. You're probably thinking about, like, all right, if I fight that guy, this is how I'm going to handle it. For me, I was brushing my teeth in the morning thinking about my throwing mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm like looking in the mirror like, okay, if I want to, look this guy off, this is what I'm going to do. there was like just a great, I'd call it like a metamorphosis in a good way. You know, you got to change over time, and you're constantly changing as a result of the experiences that kind of come in front of you. And I'm very blessed that things didn't go my way for my high school career that weren't easy. In my college career, I almost think about leaving my sophomore year. My junior year, my third year, I'm the backup and we win the national championship. Then I go into my fourth year and I'm competing my ass off with a true freshman. And I'm like, how am I competing? I'm thought I was better. I probably wasn't that much better, but maybe a little bit. And maybe I should thought I was better than I was, but that's not like I had some great year my fourth year. And then going into my last year, they named me team captain. But I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be a pro quarterback. But of course, no one else probably thought that. And then I had a pretty good senior year. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get drafted in like the second or third round. And I get drafted in the sixth round. But those were all great things for me. Because when we look back, I'm like, had I been a top recruit, had I been a top draft pick, I don't know, would my work ethic be the same? Would I think, well, I don't know, maybe I'm better than these guys. Maybe I could skip that day. Or because you know why? I've seen so many guys do that at this point. All the guys that
all the best ones.
I know, it's like the guys that usually have the most talent never had to develop the work ethic. And they never had to really deal with adversity. Like, and I look at the pro level now, and now that I'm 48 and I'm part of football and I'm part of a team, and I want to see what guys are made of when it doesn't go their way. Like, fuck when it goes well and everyone's patting you on the back, or you get a contract, or you make all the money that you want, or it's like, how about when you throw 3 interceptions in a game? I want to hear what you say to the media after that.
Yes.
Because that's going to tell me about who you are. Are you going to say, what was this guy's fault, or that guy was a play caller, or be passive aggressive? Or are you going to take ownership and say, you know what, like, it was my fault. I messed up. And I'm gonna make sure that I don't do that again. And I'm gonna show you guys, my teammates, my coaches, that through my work ethic and my attitude, that I'm actually gonna put my actions behind my words. And when I've had teammates that do that, that's when we've had the best teams.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're my receiver and I'm the quarterback, and we fuck up a ball. And the first thing I say is, hey, my fault, man. I'll make a better throw. And then if you say, no, I gotta run a better route, then I know you got chemistry.
Yeah, we're locked in.
But if I'm like,
this
guy can't, and you're going, this guy can't throw. And I see it all the time. And you're just like, okay, it's never gonna work. It might work for a little bit, but in terms of the real competition, I know I don't have to worry about those guys. I gotta worry about the guys that are always looking at themselves going, how can I be better? How can I be a better teammate? How can I show up with a better attitude? How can I put the team first more often? How can I work harder? Like, how can I help my receivers be better? How can I make the line be better? How can I make the coaches be better? Which means you have to be selfless.
Yep.
And how can you be a selfish person in a team sport?
Yeah.
You know why we can be that? Because in today's world, we're so encouraged to be so selfish on team sports.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the one thing as an older player that I was, and then I became that, like I said, now I'm an older figure in the sport. Like, I want to see a team sport be a team sport.
Yeah.
Like, that's the beauty of team sports.
You know, I went to AKA to train. I walked in as an Olympian and a heavyweight, and Cain Velasquez was the heavyweight champion at the time. And he never saw me as a potential opponent down the line. And because of that, when it was time, when I had worked myself up to number 2 in the world, I said, I'm gonna go to 205, because he set the standard for what a teammate should be. And so I felt like I needed to go down to avoid that ability. I didn't want to fight him as the guy that was on the verge of a title fight. And he uplifted me. And a lot of times a leader can do that for someone, and it really does elevate them. But when you go to the NFL draft, there's 6 quarterbacks picked before you. You know, I once said after I won the heavyweight title, I said, tonight was a culmination of my career, and it showed me what I could have been as a heavyweight. I've been second a lot of times. I was second in the NCAA tournament. I was 4th at the Olympics. John Jones beat me. But I never, ever doubted that at some point I would hold that belt and I would be the king of the world. Same thing. Never, ever doubted, regardless of how it happened. Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. Okay. You got us as a big underdog? Okay, I'm gonna show you. Just like I've shown you time and time again. The hard work is there, the mentality's there, the smarts are obviously there. But when you're in all of these moments, when that big opportunity does show itself, how do you make sure that you're ready for it and you take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of the opportunities, you know, my friend always says, like, a lot of people missed opportunities because they're dressed in overalls and it looks like work.
Yeah.
And the reality is like, when I stepped onto the field as a professional after 9/11 and I got a chance to go lead a team, that's not when, you know, I turned the light switch on.
Yeah.
Like, I turned the light switch on as a freshman in high school, preparing for an opportunity. And then I got it in that moment. And all along the way, like when I got to Michigan, there was a great saying that our practice facility was on this street called State Street. And then there was stadium was like about a mile up the road. And it was always like, you better learn to be a State Street quarterback before you become a big house quarterback.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's never about that moment. It's about what led you to that moment. And through my work with Greg Harden, the sports psychologist, he would say, when you go out on the practice field and you run a 2-minute drill and they put you in there in practice, you treat that fucking drill like it's a game-winning drive against Ohio State. Like, I don't want to hear this, it's only practice. I don't want to hear it's like didn't matter because nobody was watching. It needs to matter as much to you on that practice field as it does when you do it on the game field. And it was a like eye-opening experience for me. And again, I had these different mentors and I had other quarterbacks in the room that treated the same way because that was the culture of that position at Michigan. And I was so lucky. I mean, I chose Michigan.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that's what the foundation of that program was built on. Bo Schembechler used to say, the team, the team, the team. And I was like, I'm all about the team. And then I'm around these quarterbacks that are like with Elvis Gerbach, who was a great pro quarterback, and Todd Collins and Jim Harbaugh. There was a great history of quarterbacks. So we were all trying to live up to the standard that those guys set. So when I came into that quarterback room, I felt like, all right, I gotta be the guy that they were. So I gotta do the same things that they were taught. So I became that State Street quarterback. In my work with Greg Harden, I went out there on practice days and treated them like game days. And when they put me in for a 2-minute drill, even if I was third on the depth chart or second on the depth chart, if we scored, I celebrated like it was like we won, like we beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
So all my teammates are kind of looking around like, man, this fucking guy is serious.
Yeah.
Like it's a big moment. Like Wednesday in October for me was a big day. And then, so that when it became the big moment, I already been in the big moment.
So many
I'd been in a
times.
moment a lot. And it's like, you try to like, there's a big problem in the NFL. It's like, you play the game on Sunday, but everybody, all these players in the NFL, they want it easy Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday gets really hard.
Yeah.
And the program that I was involved in for 20 years, and the good programs in the NFL, it's really hard Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday, it's fun, and it's not easy, but it's fun and enjoyable, but you're prepared for the test.
Yeah.
But most people, we don't want to be pushed. I would say most people don't want to be pushed that hard.
Yeah.
They want to be pushed to their level of comfort.
Yep.
And once they're outside their comfort zone, they're like, oh, I'm not used to this. Oh, I don't like this. My heart's beating too fast. Or, man, I'm feeling different feelings and emotions. And it's like, that's where the growth lives. You need coaches that push you outside of your comfort zone because that's how you grow and that's how you begin to develop self-confidence and self-esteem in what you're doing.
Yeah.
You try, you fail. They push you to deal with the failure. You get another chance to go out and practice it. Then you succeed and you realize, oh, that's what I need to do differently the next time. As opposed to the athletes who try something that's hard, they fail, and now it discourages them from trying the same thing that's hard again.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of teammates like that. Like, there's guys that are on the practice squad in the NFL. So there's 53, and I learned this, again, over a period of years, but there's 53 guys on the active roster. And there's now 15 guys on the practice squad. So there's 68 players. But those practice squad players are important because if anybody on the active roster gets hurt, they can get elevated to the squad. Well, there was times where these 15 guys would do really well in practice. And they'd be practicing and you'd be like a scout team receiver. And I saw this happen a lot. These scout team receivers would come in and practice with, the scout team. And they'd do really well. And I'd be watching. I'd be like, man, we got to get that guy. Like, let's get him up on offense. He's making a lot of plays. That's Darrelle Revis he's getting open on. Like, we got to do something. Then all of a sudden, we're like, hey, man, you're doing really well. You got to come over here and deal with the pressure of succeeding now that you have expectation. And these guys are like, they weren't prepared for it. So whatever we saw in practice against where there was not a lot of pressure, now when they're put in a situation where there's an expectation for performance, they've never had to personally deal with that, and then they fail. And then what I realized was a lot of guys in those practice squads, they don't want to be elevated to the roster. They're very happy living this life where they could tell their family and friends, which I have no problem with that. Like, there's no problem. Like, you would just assume, though, that if you're on the practice squad, you'd want to be at the top. But the reality is a lot of guys don't want the pressure of dealing with top. And even I would say, like, getting to the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl, there's another level of scrutiny when you lose a Super Bowl. It's really painful to lose a Super Bowl. And I lost 3 of them. And those are the 3 hardest losses of my life. But you can't win the Super Bowl unless you're in the Super Bowl. But if you're in the Super Bowl, you have a chance to lose the Super Bowl. So it's like, do those defeats crush you? And do they feel like there's such a burden that you can't overcome them? And I think I'm proud of the fact that even though we lost some that were very important, we always found ways to come back and like look at, okay, what was our process for that? And then how can we improve it so if we put ourselves back in that situation, we can succeed?
Yeah, you can't win if you're not in the game. You can't win.
Big news, UFC and sports fans. The world's #1 sports fan festival, Fanatics Fest, is making its return in New York City. Fanatics is bringing you closer to the leagues, teams, UFC fighters, and athletes you love across 4 action-packed days in July. So meet your favorite athletes, get your hands on exclusive merch, catch live podcasts, and interact with the biggest names in sports. Tickets are on sale now, and fans of the podcast can use the code UFCFIGHT10 at checkout for a 10% discount. Head to fanaticsfest.com to get your tickets today.
You know, you talk about practice, I would do that. My heart would flutter. Every time that cage closed on me in the gym, I'd get so nervous. I would go put myself in the corner to try to gather my breath and just settle myself before I went into sparring, because I did want it to feel like a fight. And so I'm smiling because there are so many things that we share.
I know.
Because even the guys that are just in the gym, hey, I'm an MMA fighter. But I want to be in the photo with Khabib in DC and Kane. But I don't want to be out front. I want to make sure that I'm following these guys. And ultimately, that is what separates you from everyone else. I say this, and it was kind of my mantra. Embrace the grind. That was my thing. T-shirts, everything. Embrace the grind. And somebody asked me, I was at Texas A&M University talking to their football team. And they said, what does that mean exactly, coach? It was Jimbo Fisher was the coach at the time. I said, you know what embrace the grind means? I said, I want to look forward to the hardest part of the day. I don't want to think about, oh, by tonight I get home, I get to eat and I get to play my video game or I get to watch TV. No, I want to look forward to getting out of class and going straight to the football field and working, or going straight into sparring after I have been doing something that I don't necessarily want to do. The hardest part of the day is the part of the day that I look forward to the most. Because I know that if I can set my mind to get through that, that's nothing else is difficult. And that's like the best. I think
Did you
that's
have many coaches that pushed you outside of your comfort zone?
Tom, you get to that point and then you go more. You get to that point and then you go more. But I was lucky, right? Whereas you had your sports psychologist, you went to that great program. I had a guy named John Smith. He's the greatest American wrestler of all time. Kevin Jackson is an Olympic champion. I was surrounded by greatness. So by being surrounded by all that greatness, I was like, yo, I want to be an Olympic champion. At 17 years old, I'm in Louisiana in 1996 going, I want to be an Olympic champ. When everything was tape delayed, I had to stay up till 2 a.m. to watch wrestling at the Olympics. So then by the time I was at the Olympics, I'm like, I've been waiting for this for 8 years for an opportunity. It didn't work out, but it was like, I knew that that's what I wanted. And I think watching and studying up on you, your work ethic, it's honestly, man, people ask me, how do you do it? And I'm like, well, I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be normal. I've excelled in sport and I want to excel at life. I watch your show in Birmingham. in the work. You're flying to England, coming back, calling the Super Bowl.
Yep.
You talked about that as a kid,
Yeah.
but you are still carrying that work ethic now.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
I think because we never you grew up as a kid in Louisiana, you didn't know what you were going to become. Like, did you ever think you'd be
No.
a true champion in life and then get these amazing opportunities? And it's like, when you get them, you're like, how can I say no to this?
Yes.
Like, this is like a dream come true. And it's like, sometimes it maybe feel a little overwhelming for us because, it is work. And again, I never mind work. I always enjoy like feeling fulfilled with part of the day. But you're also looking at like, people would dream of this opportunity.
Yes.
And I want to get out there and take advantage of it and do it. And like, you do such a great job broadcasting. You've done it for a long time. Like, and like, how the joy you guys bring to that telecast, and like you and Joe, and just the camaraderie you have, and it adds so much. And now I get to be in broadcasting, watching the thing that I love, that I studied, and I appreciate the nuance of it and how hard it is, and like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I saw it every day. Like, there's an appreciation that even though I was really good at it, I was good at it because I worked really hard at it. And if like I look down there on the field and I see guys that are fucking up all the time, I know they're not working hard.
Yeah.
So it's not like that blows me away. What blows me away is the guys that I can probably relate to a little bit more, that have been obsessed about, achieving their dreams, that have shown a lot of resilience in their career. Like, I'm like, I like that guy.
Yeah.
I like that guy because that guy, he's earned it. And he's put a lot on the line. There's a lot of sacrifices made. And I always think there's something about contact sports, and I appreciate this about really MMA and certainly like hockey.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not prepared, and it's like football, there's a physical toll.
Yep.
You can't like fuck around and find out.
No.
Like, if you're not training right, you're gonna pay the biggest price.
I always say the scariest place is when you fucked off in practice and you're stuck in the octagon with the killer, right? There's no place scarier in this world than standing there and Buffer's like introducing you and you're like, yo, I didn't train hard enough. Could you imagine? I look at dudes, I'm like, yo, I was fighting a guy once and I elbowed him, Tom.
Yeah.
And it cut him really bad.
Yeah.
But when I got up to go back to the stool, I looked back and he was still laying on the ground. I was like, oh, he's done.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the thoughts in his mind in that moment when you didn't prepare?
Yeah.
How can you make a read in 3 seconds, if you're lucky, if you haven't prepared?
I know.
It's impossible.
And all that prep too, like for a football player, is so critically important to the success, because it's like, and I see it now a lot, because I think in some ways the NFL, the caliber of play, certainly the quarterback position, isn't what it was when I played. And I think there's reasons for it, but like the preparation we had was so much more involved and so much more intricate. And we've got to get back to that in the NFL. And if we put time limits on players' abilities to meet with their coaches and be at their facilities and like train. And I'm like, where in the world do we want this? Why can't we have these guys there improving their craft?
But how can they do that how can they get them back to that when it's kind of been accepted?
It's been accepted for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
so
and it's just,
how do you push them back to what made you guys so great? Because the era was insane.
I think we want to work, like there are high achievers that want to get back and work hard and find ways in the system who it really benefits, because the hard workers like me or like Peyton Manning or Drew Brees, I'm just using quarterbacks, there's a lot of others, but the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, they're going to work no matter what. So because you're not allowing the other guys to work, they're actually gaining a bigger advantage.
They're getting a bigger advantage as the better one.
So I would say, like, it'll probably swing back at some point. It has to. Like, people wanted 4-day work weeks and 3-day work weeks and work from home. And then people realized, listen, that ain't the way to be productive.
I want to go back to work.
Yeah, like people like, if you look at high achievers, it's like, no, I enjoy doing what I do. You're taking like the joy of what I do away from me by limiting my ability to conversate with the people that I'm going to work with to try to win a championship with. Like, there just got to be a stupid negotiation in, 2011 with the CBA about, work time. And there was just a lot of dynamics going on at the time. And I don't know, I think if you want to be great at something, you've got to commit your life to it. Certainly in a competitive environment like a sport. Because you could be better than 80% of the people, But that doesn't mean you'll be a champion.
Nope.
If you want to be a champion, you better be better than 99% of the people, which requires another level of work. You could have a nice long career and be successful and everyone go, oh yeah, he was a nice player, working at 80%. But the level to get to the 99% and be better than them, well, that's another level of, physical, mental, emotional growth. Where do I need to be every day? How can I be better, like I said, in whatever area? For me, physically, I was behind. I was really good mentally. I knew the plays. I was a savant when it came to the playbook. You put the playbook in front of me, I looked at it, I saw the play, I saw the adjustments, okay, flip the page. Okay, I said, yep, I got that. And it would just, in my mind, like I can remember plays, you call a play, I visualize it, I see everyone running, tell me the coverage, I tell you all the holes. That was the easy part for me. Like some guys can run really easily.
Yeah.
And then the emotional part of bringing the competitiveness and the fire every day, that was easy for me. I love that shit. The hard thing to me was the physical stuff.
Yeah.
So like I finally caught up to people at like 25,
yeah.
26, 27, where it's like, oh shit, now I kind of grew into my body, I have the strength I need, and I had the work ethic. Now I had the mental and the emotional, and now my physical development was really happening. And then I met my best friend in the world, Alex Guerrero, in the year 2003, who really took care of me for 20 years.
Yeah, for sure.
That like, there's no way I could have played for that long without his care and his teaching of how I needed to take care of my body. So when you add up the physical part, which became mastery, the mental part, which really came natural for me, but I still liked working at it, and that was mastery. And then the emotional part, which is the challenge for all of us, certainly as you get older as an athlete, because we're sacrificing. We get older, it's like life's happening.
Yep,
Kids
for sure.
are happening,
Kids,
family,
yep.
commitments, this, people are born, people are dying, or this. And that's like, you're living your life. You're no longer 22 with not a lot of responsibility. You have a lot of responsibility. And now you're like, how do I still compartmentalize these things so when I go to work, they can still get the best out of me?
It's all about that process, man. That's one of your buzzwords, process, the process. If you follow it, if you follow that process, man, you can do some real great things.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk to you about emotional, because emotion and operating under fire is very difficult.
Yeah.
Tom, when I would fight, I would run to the octagon every time. And everybody go, why do you run? Why do you run? I found that because of the way the UFC comes through the curtain, you are in front of all these people.
Yeah.
And they want to touch you.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was too much energy for me to absorb before I went into a combat environment. So I ran to avoid people almost taking some of what I needed that I knew I would need inside of that octagon.
Yeah.
I'm like turning sideways and shit so that people don't touch me. Because I feel like every time someone slaps your hand, you give them a little bit of yourself.
Yeah.
And all that needs to be dedicated to what's happening inside the octagon.
Yeah.
Tommy, you'd run out and you'd go, let's fucking go.
Yeah, for sure.
And I always wondered, is that a little bit of a release? Because you come from the tunnel and you got 100,000 and it's just energy.
Yeah.
And when you would scream, let's go, were you trying to kind of like, I got to get rid of this, recenter, let's go. Like, why did you do that when you would run? Because everybody says it. And it became like a real thing. I did it on the scale.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that it settled me.
Yeah.
It was almost primal. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get some of this shit out of me.
Yeah.
Now let's go do my job.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
Absolutely. It was like a great regulator. And I think you could if I was too high, I could burn a little of that energy off and then settle in. And if my energy was a little too low, it would bring me right up. And I always wanted that as my baseline. Like, okay, where am I at today? Like, I know where I need to be at to really lock in.
Yeah.
And I know what I need to feel. And I would feel that in the locker room. I always listen to the same music. And I would always try to hit the beats at the right time. And it wasn't OCD-ish, but I wanted a similar pattern of warm-up.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Bro, I literally would put my shorts on the chair in the same exact way. Tom, I from my weight cut to my clothes off at the octagon, it always had to be because it's a process.
Yeah.
We're not freestyling out here.
Yeah. And maybe part of it was there was a lot of areas where we did have to freestyle, so we wanted to lock in a few certainties.
Yep.
Because when the game happened or when the fight happened, it was unpredictable. but I didn't want unpredictable before the game.
Nope.
And then unpredictable during the game. Like, let's try to get the prediction stuff right. Like, even in my broadcasting, I try to do that now. Like, I really try to, like, it's like a late night show.
Yeah.
The first 10 or 15 minutes, they want to hit that out of the park. That's on a
Yes,
T
they
form.
do, yep.
Okay, here's the monologue. This is where you're going to crush. You're going to get a lot of good shit in before we bring the guests in. But when the guests are in, you're going to be warmed up, and you're going to be ready to be firing with them to make the show the show. It's not like a freestyle the whole time. So, like, I felt like there's part of it which needs to be scripted, like in broadcasting. Like, I know exactly what I want to say the first time this person walks out. And I think about it, because I'm like, okay, what does the audience really want to hear that I think about this guy? Okay, great. And I really go, okay, when Josh Allen runs out on the field, this is what I really think about him. And I want to make sure I nail that.
Yeah.
And now you don't get to do that the whole game.
No.
You get to do that for like the first quarter of the game, and then the last 3 quarters the same. And as a football player, we used to script the first 15 plays of the game, which was around the first quarter of the game.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to go, all right, before the game starts, we want to nail down, I'm certain you're going to call this. I'm certain you're going to call this. So I can really lock in on those certainties. Because then it becomes in the fourth quarter, and now you're just playing ball.
Yeah.
So a lot of that prep that I used to do on the football field for 23 years, I've tried to transfer into broadcasting, where it's like, I can nail some things early so that I can get off to a really good start, and that can carry me through the next 3 quarters.
I mean, you've done an amazing job broadcasting, because you're on like
Appreciate it,
the
yeah.
number 1 team.
Yeah.
You're calling Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
So that greatness has followed. But it's about regulating the emotion
Yeah.
under fire.
Very
So
much.
many great athletes can take, when that octagon door closes, there's a pen that they put in there.
Yeah.
I could hear it, Tom.
Yeah. Wow.
In the main event in front of 20,000, every time that pin dropped,
Yeah.
I'd hear bink, and I'm like, okay, somebody got to die.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's him or me.
It's him
I
or
can't
the
jump
other.
over this motherfucker. I can't jump over the bench and
Too
go
late
home.
now.
It's too late to take my ball and go home.
Yeah.
Dude, the poise in that environment. How? How do you regulate that?
Yeah.
When you're 4th and 5
Yeah.
and a big game's on the line and coach is like, we're going for it.
Yeah.
How do you regulate? How do you slow down the heart rate? Because that's where people struggle.
Yeah.
The heart, it's too fast.
Yeah.
Everything has to slow down in the biggest moments.
Yeah.
How do you think you developed that?
I tried to always make my heart rate go fast in practice. I tried to make my heart go fast in golf. I tried to make my heart go fast when we played basketball, when you shoot the hoops. I tried to make it go fast when I played backgammon. When I was competing in all those years, everything was we did quarterbacks would punt after practice on a Friday. And it would be from the 50-yard line. You try to get as close to the goal line without going in to be a touchback. And that shit got competitive. And it was just because that was training.
Yes.
Because, like, in the big moments, think about it, and I love this about football. And just like what you alluded to, I'm sure once you got in the octagon, you felt safe from everybody else.
Yes.
When I had 100,000 people in the stands, but I was on that field, that was the purest me. There was no faking it. Like, I always said, yeah, I was a reality TV star, for 23 years. Then 2 years in college when I played. Like, I was on TV every week, and that was reality TV. There was no acting. I didn't fake anything. What you saw on the sideline was who I was. The tricky part is off the field. That's when everything fucking changed.
Yep.
And everything changes in your life, and you're like, it's more stressful to be off the field than it is to be on the field. When I'm on the field with my teammates, it's just white noise in the stand, but I'm locked in with my guys. Like, we are literally connecting every play. I'm sitting next to Julian or Gronk or James White or K Falk or you name it, and we're communicating even if we're not looking at one another. We're thinking the same thing. We're on the same frequency. And then all of a sudden, now we go on the field, and we're on the same frequency on the field, and everyone's being ignored. And you're just so present in the moment. I mean, I love this about sports, and I'm sure, I always say, like, when we're out there on the field, you're not thinking about lunch, you're not thinking about Monday, you're not thinking about it. You are thinking about, what do I have to do? And that's why we loved it so much. You could be who you were in your truest sense with the thing you're probably most confident in your whole life,
Yep.
and no one can fucking bother you.
Yeah.
And you know what? All the stakes are on the line too. And like I said, you liked hard. I liked hard. So the harder that shit got, the more I liked it.
You know, Marcus Freeman said that. He said, choose hard.
Yeah.
Choose hard.
Yeah.
Most don't choose
No, they
hard.
don't want to.
We talked a little bit about that earlier. Like, people don't choose hard.
Yeah.
They go, I'm at my limit of what I can do. My son asked me today, he goes, what do you hear in the, because I told him I was going to talk to you, and he's like, what do you hear when you're in there? I was like, nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, do you hear your coaches? I go, in between rounds. I go, because when I'm in there, I have to rely on everything that I've done in preparation for this moment.
Yeah.
Nothing else actually matters because I've got to do the job. You're known as one of the most unflappable guys.
Yeah.
And it shows, right? In your prep, in your process, in your broadcasting. Have you ever had that, like, a little bit of a conflict of that confidence? Like, man, I'm in the back. I felt like I had it every time. I'm in the back, and I lay down, and I start thinking to myself, I went to college. I did everything right. How many times should I have gone right and I went left? To end up here every time, right? You going to all those Super Bowls, winning all those games, ton of expectation comes with that.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like a little bit of that crisis of like the confidence where you're like,
I know, it's kind of sick, and this is kind of probably a thing that I was blessed with. Again, like nothing that I did to, I would say, like nurture it, but like I was born like pretty naive about certain things. I was naive, like, man, of course I was like a junior in high school, right? And I was in a fucking good quarter. I was okay, you know? I was like blossoming, but I certainly wasn't like a sure thing. And my college counselor would come up and he was like, hey, like, how are we doing on the college applications? And I was like, I'm gonna get a scholarship. And he's like, yeah, I know, but like, really, like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna get recruited and I'm gonna go play football, like, somewhere. And he's like, where do you, like, what 5 should we choose? And in my mind, I was just like, huh?
why is he not getting this?
Why is he not getting it? And then when I got to Michigan, going into my 4th year, going into my 5th year, I was like, I'm playing in the NFL. I'm probably be like a 2nd-round pick. And of course, I was like a 6th-round pick, even after a good senior year.
Yeah.
I was on nobody's radar. Then when I got to the Patriots, and I was the 4th quarterback on the depth chart, 4th, most teams only keep 2 on the roster now. In my first season in the year 2000, we had Drew Bledsoe, John Freese, Michael Bishop, and me. I was a 6th-round pick. It was 2 weeks before final cut. And I called my agent, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna buy Ty Law's house. It was like 240 grand. I made 185 grand as a fucking, in my first year. That was my salary.
Yeah.
And he's like, Tommy, you haven't even made the team yet. I'm like, I'm making the team. What are you talking about? And he's like, listen, let's just, before you buy a house that you don't even know if you're gonna make the money, what are you doing? I'm like, dudes, I'm gonna make the team. Like, duh.
Yeah.
So it was like, there's like maybe a natural naivete that I had that was a dumb confidence. And it was a belief, maybe the inner belief in myself, because I did have that work ethic and I did maybe see that how stable I was and how competitive I was. And I never really lacked for confidence. A little bit in high school when I was learning to throw the ball a little bit better, there was one play, okay, and I played like 386 games, including playoffs. 386. I averaged, I don't know, call it 35 passes a game. I'm not a math major, but multiply 35, however many career pass attempts I had. I remember, like, in my last season with the Bucks, I threw a ball, and I always used to warm up on the sideline before I'd run out to play because I always liked the feel. I just always wanted to feel, okay, am I locked in? My mechanics locked in? Throw. Okay, good, I feel good. Let me run out with my teammates, like being in a TV timeout. And I remember letting like 3 or 4 balls go, and I was like, fuck, it just does not feel. The fuck's wrong? Throw it, ball's ducking. So I'm running out on the field, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna complete a fucking pass. I don't know if I can complete a fucking pass. And he calls a pass play. So I call the play in the huddle, catch the ball, look at, I think it was Mike Evans, and I fired a fucking ball to Mike Evans, hit him right in the numbers, and I was like, okay, I'm good.
I'm back.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back,
you know?
baby.
So that was like the one time, which is, I guess kind of embarrassing for me that I didn't lack But I think part of it was I was naive
Yeah.
to realize how hard this was. And then why isn't everyone else getting this?
Yeah.
But now that I look around, and I'm sure you probably do the same, like when you're in the fight, in the competition, you're thinking that everyone is doing it the way you're doing it. So you're like, fuck, dude, this is gonna be an even fight. This is gonna be a battle, isn't it? But when you remove yourself like you have now, and you look back at all these guys that are training, you're probably like, I train way harder than that. I would train way harder than that.
I'm telling you.
So now you're like, now I see how I won so much.
Yep.
That's like, when I look at my career, I'm like, I can see why we were so successful.
Yeah.
Because so many teams do so much stupid shit.
We did
but
the work.
when we were great, I thought everyone was doing great things like we were doing.
Yeah.
They weren't.
No.
They were doing stupid shit that doesn't work. We were just doing the right stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what gave us the advantage.
You know, we all have fears. What's your greatest fear, and how do you handle that fear?
My number one fear in my professional sporting life was letting my teammates down.
Yeah.
Number one. The only thing that mattered to me. Like, when I was young and maybe a little more emotionally immature, when I had a bad game, like, I would cry. It would be hurting because I feel like I literally messed this game up for everybody. When I got older, and I grew up a little bit more, I didn't have that probably like feeling. There were moments that I took really hard, and I probably used the disappointment, I turned it into anger, and that anger helped me motivate me the next day. But the fear of letting my teammates down was absolutely number one.
Yeah.
Because the system that I was in, we worked really hard. Coaches stayed till 12 at night, 1 in the morning, preparing for practice for the next day, working really hard to get the game plan right so that I could have open receivers and I could be protected the right way. So it was like, if I come in and I'm not prepared and I don't study film and all these other guys are doing all the work, and I got receivers that are busting their ass, running 7 miles sprinting on a game, running 20 miles a week through practice and game, and I'm like, can't complete a ball because I'm not working hard enough, that would kill me. And that's ultimately what I expected out of my teammates too. Because they knew that, man, Tom, you don't need to be doing this. You're in your 21st or 22nd year. And I'm like, no, I do need to do it because I need to prove to you that I'm still as good as I need to be in order for us to win what we need to win.
Letting the team down would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And one of the most proud things I am, Tom, is at Oklahoma State, I got voted the team captain.
Yeah.
At the Olympic team, I got voted the team captain by my peers. And American Kickboxing Academy, I got voted the team captain.
Incredible.
I take a lot of pride in knowing that my peers thought I was doing the work and leading in a way that they said, we want this guy to be the representation of what our team is. Same thing with you. That hard work, man, and that leadership, that's very important to you as a champion.
Yeah, and I think for like the leadership part is, there's a really high standard you're held to when you have like the C on your chest or the captain or the leader, and we always put C's on our chest. They do that a lot now, but like it was the greatest when I was in high school, team captain, 2 years. When I went to Michigan, team captain my last year, and then after my second year at the Patriots, every year after team captain.
Yes.
And like that's a gratifying feeling because they know who you really are. Bro, in the off season, there's no fucking cameras watching.
Yep.
There's no, you're in there, they're in there, it's you and them. You can't fake it. Hey, you know who I am. I'm not bullshitting you. What I say, I do. I expect the same from you. I lead by example. I lead verbally. I lead through my toughness. I lead through my will to win. That's how I lead, by caring. I lead by believing in you, by encouraging you. You got to lead in all those different ways. Yeah. And there's lots of forms of leadership. I always felt like the two things were, do I care about my teammates and do I care about what we're trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
And then the other one is, do I care about myself? And that is always number 3 in a team sport.
Yep.
It's like we represent our families, we represent our friends, our hometown, our high school, where you came from. All your roots you represent. And when you go out there on the field, you better believe they're all sitting around watching DC go fight for the world championship. Yes. And you make them proud. Yep. And you're like, I don't want to let them down. No. They've been on this journey with me forever. And I think when you embrace that, like that area of growth for me just continues to go. Because I think, and you get to do this too in your own way, like you when you were in the cage, half the people are rooting for you, half are rooting against you. Now you probably get 100% of the people who love you and respect you for what you did.
Fighting. Yep.
Because of what they saw the commitment you made. Now you get a microphone.
Yep.
And now you get to talk about all the great things what sports are all about. And that's how I view my role like on TV now. I got 25, 30 million people listening a week. What do I get to convey about what a leader really is about? What do I get to convey about what teamwork is all about? What good strategy and coaching, what will and resilience really looks like? There's a lot of people watching. So how can we make an impact in our society and our communities through sports? Like we finally get a microphone. And I don't have to be on one team where 31 other cities are rooting against you all the time. I was just trying to do my best. You were just trying to do your best. People didn't like me for doing, and I was fine with that, no problem. Now in this area, I hope people can say, man, I just respect his work ethic. I respect the way that he went about his business. I love the way that he dealt with failure, because we're all gonna deal with failure in life. And like now in this, okay, now I get a microphone and I get to be up there talking about when I see great things about other people. And that's what I love to do.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Being a quarterback has led you to a great career outside of football.
Yeah.
Right? And the future looks bright. I mean, the Aces.
Yeah, amazing.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
Birmingham City.
Yeah.
And a boat. You have a boat?
A boat race?
Boat race.
Two-time champ.
They just keep championships follow you.
Yeah.
You guys won League One, up in the championship now. Hey, you're on the coach. I'm watching. You're like,
I'm trying.
Him. You're calling him. You're like, hey. He's like, oh, it's Tom Brady. I better answer the phone.
I know.
They're always answering. But that quarterback, that leader in you have allowed for you to do that, and people pay attention. I believe that it's honorable, man. Hey, I love watching you do your thing. The way that you carry yourself, the champion that you are. You came up to me at a fight one time at a UFC to just say hi and introduce yourself. And you said, I'm Tom Brady. I'm like, no shit, you're Tom Brady. I mean, everybody always says that whenever you say your name, but that's how you introduce yourself to someone. And I know that you and I would share a lot of the same mindset. And it's very evident that we do and that people should take from it. And it's always great when you come to the UFC.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a great sport.
I know. I've been and Sean, again, my cousin, has been in and worked at the UFC forever, but he was bringing me to fights on Indian reservations in California when I was a high school kid.
Yeah.
And like, he would come over and teach me all these cool martial arts because he was into it his whole life. And like, I fell in love with fighting and with with UFC, boxing, and any of the combat sports, because you guys are the toughest. You know, what you put your body through. And then I can't imagine like the game within a fight. Like, you know that I know that what I'm trying to do, so I got to defend it. And like that psychological warfare, you know, doesn't happen as much in football because it's just one-on-one. There's no hiding. It's me, I don't have anything, you don't have anything. You got this, he's got that, and you got those.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's a tremendous amount of respect for people that, you know, do what you've done. And you're a champion, and you get to be a champion in the octagon, but you're a champion outside of the octagon. And you're an amazing man, and you got just hold yourself to the highest standard, and we need more people like you in this world.
You're the man, Tom Brady. Thank you for joining us.
DC. Appreciate it.
Guys, this has been Champion Mindset. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Good job, guys.
Awesome, dude.
Good job, partner.
That was awesome.
Awesome.